I do see that there are people from Hong Kong and Singapore and other more westernized countries maybe who clearly feel some sort of way about China or being seen as from China. And I can also relate to that because I also felt that way earlier in my life. I definitely felt like I didn't want to be associated with, you know, I didn't want to be seen the same as international students who were from China and didn't grow up here in the UK. And I think that all comes down to the fact that we all want to fit in. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's human nature. We all want to fit in. But when fitting in turns into stepping on other Chinese people in order to be seen as different and better and more palatable to the white gaze, maybe, that is something which is a huge problem. And I see that a lot when people aren't confident in our own identity. On one side, it could be people making jokes about Chinese people eating dogs because they want to fit into everyone else who's making jokes about Chinese people eating dogs. And there is this sort of like, oh, my Chinese friend doesn't mind when he says that, so why is that a problem for you? And I just wish that didn't happen. But I understand that people just, sometimes it's a case of they want to fit in, but sometimes it's a case that they want to be safe, you know? So I completely understand where that's come from, but that's a problem. If we're not confident in our own ethnic identity, and if we're stepping on other Chinese people in order to fit in or succeed, then that's not okay. And I think the other side of it can be a little bit more unconscious, and it's also something that I'm unpacking now for myself, is that we are almost proud to assimilate into a English culture, for example, or wherever people are based. And while it might seem okay to think like, okay, yeah, I did grow up with all of these childhood TV cultural references, but actually, why am I leaning into it so heavily? Why do I feel like I need to prove myself as someone who is British and British born and English enough? And that really comes down to wanting to fit in. And when I do that, I also push away and reject and ignore my, you know, Chinese heritage. And that's the problem. I think that's where the problem is. Like, it's about stepping on other Chinese people in order to succeed. And sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it.
Thank you so much for listening. And thank you for joining us in this journey to build a global Chinese diaspora community, one conversation at a time. Please remember to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your friends. And you can also follow us on Instagram at CulturedGen. That's where we post daily Chinese artistic and cultural content to inspire our modern living. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.